Hello, my friends. I'm Natasha. I run a fitness channel on YouTube. I have hundreds of yoga, Pilates, kettlebell, dumbbell, HIIT classes. But today I'm going to be talking about something completely different. I've never done a talking video, so this will be my first. I'm a little nervous, but I wanted to talk about my cancer journey, and I've been wanting to do this for a couple weeks, but I was worried about setting up the microphone that I have and just figuring out the details, and I'm scratching all that. No lighting, no microphone. I hope you can hear me. I hope it's clear. I always have my little partner in crime here. This is Cody. I have some notes. I'm gonna try not to leave anything out, and we're gonna go from the beginning, which is just over 5 years ago. I was 42 years old. I had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I had my kids a little later, so I was 35 and 38. I was still nursing my 3-year-old, and this is about summer of 2018. I do notice a little bit of a lump in my right breast. Didn't really think much of it. I do not worry about things. I kind of just blew it off, felt something, felt a little weird. Sit down, Cody, sit. And told my husband, he felt it. We thought it was like mobile. It didn't really feel like what you would read a cancer tumor to feel like, but he is a big worrier, and he was like, you got to get it checked out. We had just moved to Ithaca, New York, all the way across the country, because my husband was going to do a year, or he was already doing a year of business school, getting his MBA at Cornell. So he had moved a little early. I stayed back with the kids so they could finish their school. I think my daughter was finishing kindergarten. So we were waiting for her to finish kindergarten, and then we came out in the summer. So by the time we got out there, I was kind of I didn't have a doctor, an OBGYN. I didn't want to deal with any of that. So it took me a couple months of him kind of nagging at me to just get it checked out, for me to sit down, find a OBGYN and make that call and make that appointment. So let's say this is a couple months later, and it's about September, October. And I always heard when you're pregnant and nursing, your risk of cancer is very low. So I thought that I had that going for me too. I thought everyone thought it was weird to have breast cancer while you're nursing a baby, or I guess a 3-year-old. So the doctor didn't think that it was anything, but said, let's go ahead and schedule a mammogram. You're 42. I hadn't done my first mammogram because we had decided to put it off until I was done nursing. I had mentioned it to my doctor a couple of years prior, or maybe a year prior, and they said, she said, just, when you're done nursing, let's schedule your first mammogram. You have no cancer in the family. So, I wasn't at high risk or anything. So we go do the mammogram, and again, the doctor, at least in my eyes, was just, saw the tumor, the lump, and said, well, let's schedule a biopsy. It's probably nothing. About half the time it's not cancer, but let's go ahead and do the biopsy. So all these steps, I'm thinking, we're just taking precaution, and in my mind, I'm really not worried at all. So I go in for the biopsy on maybe a Wednesday. I'm kind of guessing. I'm really bad at dates. I have some dates written down, but the rest I'm guessing at. I'm also not a doctor in any way, so a lot of the things I'm saying might be completely wrong, but I'm just gonna do the best I can. All right, so I go in for the biopsy, which is probably one of the worst things that I had to go through, honestly. I remember it being really painful and uncomfortable, but did the biopsy, and then the doctor calls me. I get a call on a Friday afternoon. Let's see, this is biopsy date. I know I got the call on my husband's birthday. So it's November 2nd now, and I get this call on a Friday afternoon while my husband has gone to New York City for some job fair thing. So he's not there. I'm with the 2 kids alone, and the doctor that just says it's cancer. Gives me no information, just leaves me with that on a Friday. I am panicked, call my husband. He decides to come home early. And that whole weekend, we were just trying to make sense of it, talking to my cousins that are doctors. What little information I had, I actually went with my kids. They're 3 and 6. They have no idea what's going on. And I went and picked up the disc to get any more information I could, because that doctor left me with nothing. So I found out a little bit of information about the tumor, and I think about what size, I don't know if it said, I think there was a margin of size, but you find out much more of the details when you actually do the lumpectomy and get it removed, and then they have more details on the tumor. But whatever they did have, I think they already knew it was HER2 negative, HRPR positive, so estrogen, progesterone positive, and some little things. So we had put it together based on the little information that we had, that it was probably early and, had a good chance of moving forward and this not being my story, and, stage 1, all that stuff. So, but that weekend was really scary, crying, freaking out, all that stuff. And then once we went in the following week, I think maybe by Tuesday, we met with the whole team of, or I don't know if I met with the whole team, but I found out about the whole team of, I was gonna have a surgeon, I had an oncologist and a radiologist. It's a pretty small area in Ithaca, so that was my team. It was already put together, and they were really awesome, actually. Very happy with all 3 of them. So this is way up there. I have no family, no friends, and we just had moved. But it didn't feel that scary. Once they talked to us about it, it was, it was caught early. It was the kind of cancer that's not aggressive. It responds to estrogen, so there are things you can do to block that. So we decided a lumpectomy was the way to go. Like I said, it was small. It would be a relatively easy procedure. So unfortunately, I did have to wait till December 14th to schedule the surgery. I can't remember why. I think the surgeon wasn't available, and there's not many to choose from there. So we just had to wait it out. I don't know if that had anything to do with what happens now 5 years later, waiting that long, but everyone says, with these types of cancers, a month, 2 months is not going to make a difference. Who knows? So get the lumpectomy, surgery went fine. I do have a little bit of an indentation in that boob, whatever, it is what it is, and a scar. The thing that did hurt the worst for the healing was when they went into my lymph nodes. I think they removed the sentinel lymph node and 4 others. I think 5 lymph nodes were removed, all clear, no cancer to be found in the lymph nodes. There were really good margins around the tumor, all clear. Everything looked great. I was gonna do radiation that following February 2019, 4.5 weeks, I believe, of radiation. And I went through that all of February. And okay, so let me go back to the lymph node healing. I think I had some internal bleeding called a hematoma, I think. And so that was actually really painful in my arm. It felt terrible. It took a while to heal, but funny enough, I forgot that I was subbing a class on the Monday after the surgery I had on Friday. So I did go teach that yoga class 2 days later, and I was, still doing yoga, a little stuff on my own and working out. So I was fine, but it was pretty painful for a good month or so. But that went away, healed up, did the radiation. On my Instagram stories, I think I took a picture every day after doing my radiation. It's so much easier than it sounds. You go in and it's like, you're in and out of that whole doctor's appointment, although you are going Monday through Friday every day. So it's a big thing. It was about 15-20 minutes drive, but a beautiful drive up in Ithaca through the trees. And I would go and I'd be in and out of there in 5-10 minutes. The radiation itself is like a 2-minute thing. It's so easy. You're just laying there. You don't feel anything. It's loud. I would count and I would think like positive thoughts. And that was pretty easy. By the end, my skin did look like a sunburn, no blisters. It wasn't painful. I don't even think it got itchy. I had a nice cream. Someone told me about some Chinese herbal cream, and I think that helped me. And yeah, that was pretty easy. I was teaching the whole time through it, living completely normal, didn't stop me from anything, no side effects that I could notice other than the skin, you know, visually and feeling like maybe a sunburn. And I think it's still like, now it's getting back to normal, but if you really look, you can see like a slight discoloration. Okay, so we do that. Then they want me to take tamoxifen for 5 years. We get the results of the tumor, you know, that we find out, okay, it's stage 1, everything looks good. I'm gonna go on the hormone blocker tamoxifen, and I did an Oncotype score, which I think it's 1 to 100. I might be wrong, but of what your reoccurrence possibility is, and I got a 6, so that's super low. Everyone thought, you know, I was done. I would never see this again. I don't worry about things. So I'm thinking, great, that was super easy. Didn't even feel like a big deal to me. I had cancer and now I don't, and I'm moving on with my life, although I have to take this pill. And for me, I don't think I paid attention to how important that pill was, and I never wanted to be on it. And I do have that one regret. I wish I had known that, let me read this right off verbatim so I don't mess it up, but tamoxifen blocks the effects on estrogen on the hormone receptor. It sits in the cancer cell, kind of tricking your body. Okay, so in place of estrogen, you have the tamoxifen. So the tamoxifen is in the cell, the estrogen can't attach to the cancer cell, and the cancer cell can't receive the estrogen or the signal to grow and multiply, right? So you're not really removing the estrogen out of your body. In my mind, I'm like thinking, I don't want to take the estrogen out. I don't want to go through premature menopause. I'm thinking of all these like, you know, superficial reasons why I don't want to be on this. And I did take it, but I feel like there were times where I was like, I'm just going to skip this night here and there. Went through a few years pretty good about taking it, always didn't want to be on it. You know, I one time we moved into my parents' house because we were doing a whole renovation on our house, and I just completely forgot to take it for like a week. My doctor said that was fine. I just went back on it. But towards the end of like 4 years in, I definitely started like skipping nights and just not taking it super seriously, not thinking I needed it. Didn't have a care in the world about getting cancer back because of all the information I was given. I believe one time my oncologist even told my husband the first time we met that I had like a 97% chance of not getting it back and just living out my life. Okay, so here we are. It's 2023. We'll start in July 2023. Or sorry, no, let's start in June. My parents come home from Portugal, and we go to see them I think the night they come back. They're super tired. My dad's in bed. I'm thinking it's jet lag. They call us the next morning and they had COVID. So 2 days later, I get COVID. First time, this year. And I got pretty sick. First day was really bad, had a bad headache, couldn't really do anything. And then just like a week of being pretty sick. But you know, not serious. But then I had this lingering cough that wouldn't go away for weeks. And then I'm going in July for my yearly MRI. So all these 5 years, every 6 months, I alternate between a mammogram and an MRI. Always has come out clear, good, everything looks great, no cancer, nothing questionable. I do have this one thing to me that feels like a little similar to the other side, but they said the way that the blood is flowing through it, they can always tell that it's benign. Anyway, I go in for my MRI and they see trace amounts of pleural effusion, but I had told the doctor, my oncologist, that I just had COVID and I've been coughing a lot, And now I'm better, and I feel fine. And she said, okay, well, let's just maybe in a couple months go back and get another chest x-ray. So after the MRI, they sent me in for the chest x-ray. They do see the trace amounts. It says trace amounts of pleural effusion. So I'm like, okay, that sounds normal. I just had COVID. I don't know if it's normal or not, but, and she said, yeah, we'll just check you out again in a few months. So now we are at October. We go to Disneyland, and my son picks up a cold because of course he's touching every little railing, hanging on everything, and he gets sick right away. We get home a couple days later, I get sick. Again, nothing, no big deal, just like a fever, a little cold, lasts a couple days, but then I have this cough and it won't go away. It's weeks of coughing, and it sounds terrible. It's dry, nothing's coming up, it's a dry cough. I go into a walk-in clinic to just say, I have this cough that's not going away. They check my vitals. Everything's perfect. 100% oxygen, no fever, this, that. They give me a cough medicine, like a prescription-based cough medicine to take, really just to suppress the cough. Doesn't really do anything else. So I took it a couple times and didn't really take, just didn't think it was really gonna do anything for me, so I kind of didn't use that. I go back in a week later. I said, I still feel the same. I'm coughing a lot, and I'm feeling a heaviness in my chest, and when I'm exercising, I'm losing my breath really easily from things I wouldn't normally be losing my breath from. Okay, so a little bit of shortness of breath and a heaviness in my chest and the cough. So those three things are happening. This is why I'm going in. I go back in, checks my vitals, 99% oxygen, no fever, thinks I'm fine. I tell her about the pleural effusion, that tiny bit I had in June. So she says, this is just a walk-in clinic. Okay, well, let's just order a chest x-ray. And I said, yeah, I think that's good, because let's see what's going on. I go in for the chest x-ray, and the lady takes it. I walk by, she's kind of like hiding it. I think, you know, that might be normal, but I did notice it. I thought it was a little weird. That evening, they call me and say I have a large right pleural effusion, and I think it was small or trace left. And they think it's pneumonia. I also sent the x-ray to my cousin who's a doctor, and she's like, Natasha, where are you? She thinks I'm like in the hospital because this looks so bad. Most people wouldn't even be walking around, let alone I'm still like teaching my classes. I was subbing out a little bit. The shortness of breath and the coughing, I was, you know, a little bit concerned. So I was subbing out here and there, but I was teaching still and living life normally. So she was like, that looks really bad. Okay, I would put you on, you know, antibiotics. And they gave me antibiotics. I did some 5 days. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I did 5 days of antibiotics, and I asked I don't remember. Again, I'm really bad at details, but I asked someone when I should start feeling better. And they said, when you're on antibiotics, if it's an infection, really within like 24 hours, 48 hours, you should be feeling much better. And I'm like, I still feel the heaviness in my chest. So I can't remember if I do another chest x-ray. I don't think I do. I think they just order a thoracentesis where they put a needle in my back and drain out the fluid, and they wanted to biopsy the fluid. So I still don't think anything of it. Now that I know what I know now, and I've been reading a lot about it, that's really suspicious for if you've had cancer before, that it could have been malignant pleural effusion, but I don't know any of this stuff. I think they're gonna drain out the fluid, it's gonna be some kind of infection, and I'm gonna get some more antibiotics, and I'm gonna be on my way. Again, not worried. Once they drained out the fluid, that whole day was really weird. My lungs were trying to like expand after being just compressed for who knows how long, probably those 6 months it was growing, or maybe just the inflammation of the 2 times I was sick just caused the growth of the pleural effusion. And since we know now, I have these nodules in my chest wall that just disrupted the regular flow of, you know, how you're supposed to drain the fluid. A little bit of fluid is natural in there, but it's not supposed to start filling up. So those nodules disrupted the functioning, right? So I'm just filling up. They take it out. My lungs are re-expanding. That day I couldn't breathe. It was a little scary trying to just feel like I couldn't take a deep breath, even more so than with the fluid, because I had just adjusted. I'm healthy, I work out, my lungs, I must have been using the other side. I was still getting good oxygen. Anyway, I am now waiting for the results for the thoracentesis. And again, I'm looking up, I get all these initial numbers. I'm putting them into Chat GPT, and I'm like seeing some cancer things. Some things said malignancy, but a lot of it is saying infection, and I'm thinking it's some kind of infection. So my mind's just going to those things, ignoring that it also, some of these numbers could mean cancer, but I'm not thinking that. So I get this call from my doctor, and I go, oh my gosh, I keep checking my chart. I'm like waiting to see, you know, what this is. And she's like very quiet and said, I wish I had some better news for you. And my husband's sitting across at the computer. I'm in the bed, and my face just dropped. I just looked at him. He looked at me. We both knew this wasn't good. And she said, there's no other way to say this, but your cancer's back. And I am completely shocked. It wasn't even really on my radar. And then we just don't know what that means. So really, she just said, I've been trying to get a hold of your oncologist. She's on vacation. Turns out she wasn't on vacation. She was actually at a breast cancer conference. But anyway, I heard she's on vacation. She will get you in next week, and you'll meet with the oncologist. And she's just like, I'm really sorry. And so we're left with that call once again of just really not knowing anything, and going to Google. And if you type in cancer pleural effusion, it basically sounds like you have 6 months to live, 4 to 6 months. I mean, it is dire. It does not look good. We are freaking out. I am definitely crying a lot, thinking I don't have a long time to live. Let me rewind. I forgot to mention that after that first time I had the trace amounts of pleural effusion from the MRI back in July, I decided to go off Tamoxifen. My bad decision, because I didn't want to be on it anyway. I read somewhere that Tamoxifen, there was some little correlation of Tamoxifen and pleural effusion, which I don't even know where I saw that, but I latched onto that and decided I've done over 4 years. My Oncotype score was a 6. I was not going to get cancer back. This is, in July. And so I just completely stopped taking it. So and before that, I was not being very consistent. I was skipping a day and here and there. So this is probably where I had after doing all this reading, I find out that 20 to 30% of the time, you can have a cancer cell escape through like a blood vessel, not take your lymph nodes, and, just kind of leave your body before you have the surgery, before you go through the radiation. It could have just like floated away. I'm probably saying this wrong, but I had no idea that was even a possibility. No one had told me that. If I had known that, and I had known what Tamoxifen was actually doing, and how helpful it was, and my husband thinks that I did know this, but maybe I just wasn't letting it sink in. And not the chance that it could have taken a blood vessel. Neither of us knew that, but how important Tamoxifen was. So if I had taken it super consistently, done the 5 years, most likely this would have started after I stopped next April. So this probably would have happened anyway, but I think I definitely made this happen sooner. But that's neither here nor there, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because I didn't know, and I had something had gotten out before I had the surgery. So I'm off tamoxifen. This thing, whatever, is starting to grow because the estrogen is coming back in my body. I am getting periods like clockwork for the last couple months. And that's not good because my type of cancer really thrives on estrogen. Now I know from the biopsy of the fluid that my type of cancer, again, it's still HER2 negative, but the hormone ER positive thrives at 90 to 100%. So it's pretty much all just growing through estrogen. So yeah, I shouldn't have gone off of that, but I did, and here we are. And then I go in to the appointment that following Monday with my oncologist, and you know, we had a rough weekend, a lot of crying, scary, Googling, but my husband did find a group on Reddit that had malignant pleural effusion. Oh, I didn't mention that it says everywhere, okay, you have stage 4 cancer. So I know that this is stage 4 cancer. I went from not thinking I have really much chance at all to see cancer again to you now have stage 4 like that. And he had found a group of people still living and doing well and living quite normally. So we had some glimmers of hope, but it sounded very dire. I go into my oncologist. She's awesome. She just goes, okay, well, the cat's out of the bag. It is stage 4, but this is what we're gonna do. She has this plan. She tells us, you're gonna go on, we're gonna shut down your ovaries today. We're gonna give you a Lupron shot. We're gonna do that. We're gonna put you on estrogen hormone therapy, and we're gonna put you on endocrine therapy. No chemo. So I didn't mention, but first thing I thought of is, of course I'm gonna be doing chemo. So I'm researching cold caps. I wanna keep my hair still vain, of course, throughout this. And these are the things that, you know, freak me out. So yeah, when she said no chemo, when she had this plan, when she told us that she has had women that are stage 4 and on these therapies since they came out about 8 years ago, and they're just fine. They have no cancer, they can't find cancer in their body, and they're just taking these pills and living their life quite normally. There are side effects, of course, and those do scare me quite a bit, but I feel pretty confident that these will work to shrink the tumor cell. It's not even tumors yet. So I had to go in for the PET scan. So that's how we found out even more details now. So I go in for a full body PET scan, and there is no cancer in any of the other organs. There was a tiny bit of activity in my liver, but they're just gonna watch it. They didn't think it was anything. Sometimes that just happens and it was really minimal. But they did see a lot of nodules inside the chest wall. So I think in my layman's brain that nodules are even before a tumor. They're just like little groupings of the cell that were obviously affecting the way my the pleural space. So it's not even in the lungs, it's in the chest wall, which is the pleural space, which was causing the effusion, which, to be honest, I am feeling this filling up again, and I kind of want to go back to get the fluid drained one more time. She said we don't have to chase it. If you feel it, we can go back in for the thoracentesis, or once I start these pills, the process and these whatever these things are, start shrinking, then it should just go back to normal. So I'm kind of feeling this out. When I take a deep breath, I can feel that something is happening. I'm sure it is filling up again, but I'm still working out and I'm feeling really good. We got a Peloton, so I've been doing that like crazy. I started with 20-minute rides, now I'm up to 30-minute rides, and they're feeling a lot easier day by day, and doing some weights and all that. But so anyway, the pills I'll be on. I did one Lupron shot, and they gave me an EKG to check my heart, because one of the pills has a side effect of some heart issues, murmurs, and if that's the case, they'll pull me off. So I'm going to go back and get another EKG a couple more times to monitor that. I have started 2 days ago, yesterday. I've taken it twice. It is called, let me get my little notes. This is kind of a funny story too. So anastrozole, Arimidex, is the hormone therapy that works outside the cancer cell, okay? This is what's gonna take out any remaining or floating estrogen that your body makes that are not from the ovaries, because I'm shutting my ovaries down and putting myself into early menopause. All the things that I didn't want to be on tamoxifen for, we are just going for times 100. So my mistake. If you are on tamoxifen, please take it seriously. Take it every day. Know that it is such a, if you have mild side effects, I should say. I didn't really have any side effects. I was just in my mind thinking I'm aging myself and I don't want to go through menopause early, and the dumbest things now, thinking back. Now I'm doing all this to myself again, like 1,000-fold. So anastrozole works outside the cancer cell to block the estrogen to feed it. So if it's not being fed, it cannot thrive, survive, grow. And then I start Kisqali. I was supposed to start them together, but insurance getting the drug to my house has just taken longer than expected. They think I'm gonna get it tomorrow. So then I'll start that one. And Kisqali is an endocrine-based therapy. It works inside the nucleus of the cell. So while the other one works outside, this works right inside. It blocks CDK4 and CDK6. Don't ask me to explain what those are. I don't know all the details, but something that the cell needs. And it prevents the cells to divide. So these in combination should start to just kill the cancer cells. They can't grow, they can't thrive, they have nothing to feed on, so they just start to die off. That should put my process back to normal, no more pleural effusion, and I just have to be on these drugs now for as long as they work. It is stage 4, it's quite serious, but I am so thankful it is 2023 and stage 4 does not have to be a death sentence all the time. They are getting better and better, even with the more aggressive types and the HER2 positive types. But I still think the type of cancer I have is, really responds to blocking the estrogen. So I feel really hopeful that I will just be living on these without having cancer in my body, but it is going to be most likely just a lifetime of taking these therapies. But I'm still also hopeful that maybe something else will come out and I'll be able to just do a shot and not have to be on these forever. So the side effects are something I do worry about a lot, but I've taken the anastrozole for 2 days and I have not had any side effects, not even hot flashes, which I was having some a couple years in after tamoxifen, but could be just my age. I'm 47 now. What else? So yeah, I mean, with Kisqali, you're probably gonna lose, everything I've read about is you do have hair loss, thinning, everything that you have in old age, after menopause and even like old age, it affects your bones. So you can have osteoporosis or whatever the one is that's under that, osteo something. The number one side effect that I seem to come across is joint pain. So just feeling kind of stiff, especially in the mornings when you get out of bed. I am just hopeful that my workouts and my weightlifting and me staying fit and just healthy and active my whole life will really help me with this. It lowers your white blood cells, so you're more prone to infection and sickness. So we gotta watch for that. Again, the heart, we're watching for the heart stuff. There is a very rare lung thing that can happen, inflammation of your lungs. If that happens, which is actually similar side effects to what I'm going through with the pleural effusion, but if that keeps up, then they have to take me off this. And there are other drugs that work similarly. So if one doesn't work, you can always go to another one. But if you can stay on one for as long as you can and then go to another one and just keep buying years and years and years, then you're good. So if you do start to run out of the drugs that are working, that's when you'll go to chemo. Yeah, I think I have talked about everything I want to talk about. Please let me know what questions you have. Yeah, I'll start the Kisqali tomorrow or maybe Friday, since they said to take both of these in the morning. I'm going to keep you posted, especially if you want me to, let me know on what kind of side effects I'm having through these. Hopefully they'll be minimal and manageable. Yeah, the low blood, white blood cells, the joint pain, bones, hair, and then like skin. I think you're just kind of aging yourself, taking out all that estrogen that makes your skin, you know, plump and vibrant, and your hair. So, you know, I'm here. So I just gotta live. My kids are still young. They're 8 and 11. My little dog, or my giant doodle, would be lost without me, and my husband's been really emotional and super supportive, and I couldn't ask for a better partner to go through this. My family's amazing, my parents, my sister, my brother. So I have a lot of good support and great doctors. I'm right here in the Bay Area. My uncle works in Arizona at the Mayo Clinic. He's like the head of the Mayo Clinic. So we've sent all my information to him, and he's sending it to his oncology team. So we'll get like a second opinion, and maybe if there's any clinical trials that I can be a part of, we'll see. So I'm really lucky. Doctors in the family, and yeah, so I'm gonna finish this right here. Let me know if you have any questions. I have been drowning myself in YouTube videos of people talking about their cancer journey, so I really wanted to make one because I think they're helpful. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I mean, it's not an enjoyable topic, but I feel great, other than what I think is starting to happen in my lungs, the fluid. But other than I'm super healthy, I'm trying to eat very healthy. I even want to work with a dietitian and maybe have someone just check my blood work and tell me what kind of vitamins and foods I should be eating. I want to get a juicer. I have big plans. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for being here, and I will update you on my journey. I'm also going to be filming a class, so I have a fun body weight workout that I'm going to film and post for you later. And if you haven't worked out with me and you're just here to hear about cancer, maybe try one of my classes. They're kind of challenging, but they're a lot of fun. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you later. Bye. Love you.